Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma. Again. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. JesuliN, playing as the OKW forces in the blue. And his opponent is going to be none other than VonIvan, playing as the Soviets of the Red Army. Two very good players, should be hell of a game. Let's hope it's good. So, right off the bat, we see JesuliN getting himself his Volksgren squad out on the field, and then following it up with a Kubelwagen. For VonIvan, though, we see him getting 2 combat engineers to start with, tier 2 going down quickly, and a Maxim machine gun being followed up after that. Now, we shall see here if it is a simple Maxim machine gun opening, or if he's going to be spamming them. But I guess we'll see. Anyways, right off the bat, though, we also see VonIvan selecting his Doctrine, and that is, of course, the Guard Mortar Coordination Tactics, a oldie but a goodie. And, as always, we see players laying down wire whenever they can, or wherever they can. JesuliN laying down some wire in the center to deny that green cover in the direction that VonIvan would most likely use it. Now, we do see a second Maxim machine gun coming up for VonIvan just now, or being built. Still not necessarily spam, you know, that's to be determined. But, I mean, I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing more than 2 Maxim machine guns. So, for now, we see combat engineers moving around in the south, capturing territory as much as they can. Volksgrens being produced for JesuliN, having a second one now out on the field heading to the south, while the other ones up in the north are capturing as much as they can. And the Kubelwagen, utilizing its more expedient mode of travel, meaning wheels rather than legs, is capturing the far north, because it can get there a lot faster than other units could. Volksgrens down south do manage to engage the combat engineers. Combat engineers are alone. They have a second combat engineer squad nearby to help, which is moving up behind the Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers are taking some damage here, but the combat engineers are essentially out there in the open by themselves, as much as the second combat engineer squad can help. It's not going to be fast enough to prevent the death of this squad, thus force JesuliN to reposition itself, so it allows him to stay on the field a little bit longer. Now, VonIvan, though, surprising me and everyone else, actually goes for a conscript squad rather than keep building Maxims. Does put both of his Maxims in buildings. Has one back here, the second one in the church now, harassing the center. So we now have conscripts coming out into the field that can actually fight, whereas the combat engineers trying to lay down some mines and such are unable to do so, but they are still able to cap. Kubelwagen being moved down south. Stormpile squad for JesuliN is popping a minesweeper, that's what I'm trying to say. And the Kubelwagen down south moves in and quickly forces away the combat engineers. So the conscripts on the field are moving up to the north. No enemy forces in the north right now. We do see a Volksgren squad moving up north for a little while we see these Volksgrens laying down some sandbags in front of the victory point, giving them some heavy cover eventually, after they finish building it. But in a nice position. It's one of those nice things about these sandbags. Their size is pretty much the same as the area of the victory point, which allows it to be placed right up next to it, and enemies won't be using the other direction. So it's basically having its own barbed wire included. So Kubelwagen down in the south, harassing the fuel point, managing to decap it as well as the strategic point. Maxim machine guns being popped out of their houses, allowing some other Volksgrens to move in to the position. AT gun is getting built for VonIvan, as he expects JesuliN to be teching up and getting something nasty soon. For now, though, we see JesuliN building himself a battle group headquarters right next to his HQ, making sure that all his retreating troops are in the range of the medics, so nobody gets left behind. And the Maxim machine gun down south, managing to position itself right in front of that Kubelwagen, laying into it a little bit and forcing it to move the hell out of the way. Up in the far north, conscripts and combat engineers moving along. We do have Volks hold up inside the shack. not much is going to happen in that regard, but we see the Volksgrenadiers popping out as the Kubelwagen speeds along the battlefield and moves up to the north to engage. There are conscripts right behind them, and the combat engineers at the front. Combat engineers will be killed here if they just sit there. They're getting shot at by both the Volks and the Kubelwagen. Going to be taking a lot of damage, hitting retreat, taking some losses in the process. They won't die. They're going to maybe suffer another loss, but it's, yeah, healthy enough on the last remaining guy to keep them on the field. We do have a Volkswagen squad nearby that could potentially put itself in the way and try and get some additional shots. But again, it's a healthy enough unit that it wouldn't actually be able to do so. And we also see the Maxim machine gun getting in suppression fire going on the Volksgrens. Volksgrens forced to retreat, and conscripts pop into the house and pop out, allowing them to stay on the field. Incendiary grenade getting popped up in the north on those conscripts, forcing them to retreat. The Kubelwagen, if it had actually chased it down, could have potentially picked up a kill. It is chasing it down now. Might be a little bit too late. Can it actually pick up the kill? No, it looks like the conscript's going to be able to duck itself behind that car, get a little bit of cover in the process, and eke away into the night. Or day, because it's daytime here. Look, wee, day. Anyways, in the center, Storm Pios and conscripts engaging. The Storm Pios are inside this house, and only one of its members is actually shooting. So the squad pops out and decides to disengage. And we see JesuliN selecting his doctrine, and that is, of course, the Scavenge Doctrine. Another very popular doctrine that we see quite often, especially giving that ability to throw those infiltration grenades. Very powerful, especially in all these buildings. Very useful for flushing out Maxim machine guns from inside these churches and such. Anyways, Maxim machine gun down south, looking in the wrong direction. Second Maxim machine gun popped inside the church to defend the center point. And we have the conscripts and combat engineers moving up to the north, as we see that Kubelwagen moving along and getting itself right in the thick of it, getting barraged, and taking quite a bit of damage there on that hood. For JesuliN, we see him getting some upgrades on the Volksgrenadiers. One of the Volksgren squads already upgraded with the assault rifles. And down south, we see some mines for VonIvan, trying to catch some units unawares and get some additional kills. Jaeger light infantry getting popped for JesuliN up in the north, trying to get a little bit of extra support here against these conscripts. As the conscripts are laying down some sandbags, they are exposed, taking some additional damage. They do manage to pop their defenses as the Jaeger light infantry close the distance, get themselves right on top of them, and the Kubelwagen is trying to maneuver itself. Well, actually, no, it's right there. Anyways, and the conscripts are quickly forced to retreat without capturing the point. Victory points are 462 to 412, currently a 50-point lead for JesuliN. Center map, we hear more Maxim machine guns opening up on infantry. And we hear a second Maxim machine gun setting up on its flank, managing to get a pin on the squad in the center, forcing it to relinquish the point. Storm Pios and Volksgrenadiers managing to get themselves right behind the AT gun and the church, doing quite a bit of damage there with their assault rifles. Will be doing a lot of damage to the weapon itself. Well, not the weapon itself, but the crew of the weapon. As we see yet another Jaeger light infantry getting popped behind the lines, going to be able to clear out that weapon, and the weapon will be left on the field. The Maxim machine gun still hold up inside the house, trying as best it can there for VonIvan to hold strong, but it is currently surrounded. It doesn't really seem like it's going to work out very well. However, at the end of the day, manages to hold its ground, kills off a Volksgren squad, and then will probably get killed here by the Jaeger light infantries. Second Jaeger light infantry squad moving up from the north, going to be trying to do what they can against the Maxim, and down goes the Maxim as the combat engineers are trying to provide a little bit of support, yet they have a sweeper in hand, so it's one less guy that can actually shoot. Conscripts with a flamethrower getting infiltration. Oh, very nasty volley there right on top of that conscript squad. The Volksgrens manages to pick it up on the retreat, and oof, VonIvan not looking very well right now. We see oof, did he actually call in a second Jaeger light infantry? I don't know if, I mean, I see it recharging, but I don't know if he called in another one. I think he did. Yeah, you see it right there. So one of the Jaeger light infantry squads did go down, apparently. I guess I'll write it down so we can actually see the moment when it died. So probably was around 9 minutes. Okay. So yeah, one of the infantries goes down. He calls in another one for JesuliN. So JesuliN also suffering some losses, but he did manage to inflict quite a bit of damage there to VonIvan. VonIvan does manage to recover his weapon, though, so he keeps that on the field. A third Jaeger Light Infantry squad getting popped and manages to decrew the weapon. The weapon is a little bit too far out there. Is he actually going to go for it? I don't think he will. It's too much of a risk. Going to be popping itself right in front of the house once again. The guards are going to be fighting here for VonIvan. We do have the cool wagon coming up right behind him. Could get some additional shots in there, but it does risk itself getting turned on and getting PTRS in the face. However, Storm Pios popping in the church, popping out of the church very quickly, closing and traversing a lot of distance very quickly. A little bit of a warp, and it allows the Jaegers to stay on the field. AT gun getting recovered once again. Jaegers popping back in, going to be getting some additional shots in there, but the Maxim machine gun is already in place, making sure that nobody can really oppose them. At least not, you know, too aggressively.
An anti-tank gun has taken the field.
Area secure. Cover the advances.
So the Storm Pios managing to decap the cutoff point, even laying down some mines in the process, trying to catch whatever gets in there. Sweeper is going to be utilized here to remove those mines for VonIvan as VonIvan moves down to the south. Combat Engineers and Conscripts trying to do what they can here to push out, but there are some units for support. We have Jaegers all across the battlefield, even the cool wagon being moved up here to provide some support. Storm Pios managing to get themselves into some heavy cover there while they cap at the same time. The cap has been interrupted, though, as a combat engineer with the sweeper manages to run into the point and just sit there. And, well, whilst not being a target, manages to keep himself from getting shot for quite a while. Kubelwagen does manage to force a retreat of that conscript squad. And eventually the combat engineers are forced to retreat. Down to one man. The one remaining man. Yeah. Infiltration aids getting popped over the house, trying to catch the retreating guards, but VonIvan not looking in good shape right now. JesuliN just dominating the entire map, has both fuels, or will be having both fuels very soon. But we do see Tier 3 has gone down for VonIvan, and he's also getting himself an Su-76. Su-76 probably not the best choice right now, considering the setup for JesuliN. The artillery barrage, though, is really useful and could potentially turn the tide, but I mean, with all the infantry that's on the field, maybe a T-70 would have been better, but still, I mean, obviously he doesn't know the exact composition, and the Su-76 is great against vehicles and could even potentially pick up the kill on that Kubelwagen. Now, we do see a Rakuten Warfare on the field for JesuliN, so that Su-76 will be having a tough time. We also see a booby trap laid down here in the southern strategic point. Artillery barrage, as we said, there in effect. Flies, demolishes the car, the cover of that car, and forces the retreat there. Oh, wait. Does it... Huh. Okay. Well, I didn't know that actually happened. But I guess that makes sense. So it seems like sweepers actually deny demolition charge. Well, not demo charges, but... what they're called? It's just the booby traps. Yeah, it looks like they actually denied the booby trap, and it doesn't go off if the sweepers are there. Because usually, unless I'm thinking of a different ability, the booby trap immediately goes off as soon as something steps into the enemy terrain, or an enemy steps into the capture point. Anyways, Jaeger Light Infantry inside that shack. We have Volkskrans and Storm Pios nearby. Grenades flying in all directions, trying to do what they can there. Storm Pios and conscripts. No, not then. Volkskrans right on top of the guard squad. Guard squad. Oh, nicely grenade. Oh. Ouch. WTF says JesuliN. As that was a nasty explosion right there. So the grenade seemingly set off the booby trap, and everything went kaboom. The Jaeger Light Infantry still hold up inside that house, retreating. Can it make it out of there? Looks like it's barely going to make it out of there. Oswin getting called onto the field. The guard squad taking some damage. The Su-76 is on the field, though. And with the Oswin on the field now, of course, that is obviously the better choice. We do see the T-70 coming up soon after that for VonIvan, so, you know, he knows what he's doing, obviously. And, yeah, manages to fend off against that Oswind, because the Oswinds are very tough. 120mm mortar getting called in for VonIvan. We don't see that one too often, but it's nice to see it again. Oh, nasty mine hit there on the Su-76 down south, giving JesuliN a little bit of an opportunity here. Unfortunately, though, there's nothing nearby. We have conscripts, maxim machine guns down south, and all the troops for JesuliN are currently in the middle, which is the Rakuten Warfare, but it's cloaked and moving slowly, and then everything else is not even around. Also, he doesn't even have any Volksgrens left. They've all died, and, yeah, I mean, can't even move into Faustet or anything, so a little bit of a delay there for VonIvan, but he will be able to recover and heal up that tank, getting back into working order.
Only 200 points remain. Double your efforts.
JesuliN, though, still holding quite a lead at 454 points, has bled VonIvan down to less than 200. So he does have a decent amount of time to recover from that loss there, which, you know, was tough, but not too much. And yeah, we'll see what he ends up bringing up. No additional text so far. Probably doesn't need it.
AT gun here. You need something built?
So, bit of a lull in the engagement here. We see troops for VonIvan moving down south, trying to cover some territory. We see armor movement into the center as the artillery barrage flies into the church, trying to dislodge whatever is in there, and more precise, yeah, collapse the church to make sure that nothing can actually put itself in there and be a nuisance here to VonIvan. Guard squad's moving into the center, managing to get spotted there by Jaeger light infantry. The light infantry is in heavy cover and has their marksman rifle. Down south, we hear the Oswind catching some combat engineers. Combat engineers retreating, though the Oswind seemingly is moving itself into range here of a mine. Maxim machine gun, though, taking the brunt of the damage here. Brought down to 2 men. Can it actually make it out of there? Looks like it might. The Jaeger light infantry will be trying to pick up some additional kills. But, oh, God. Yep, that happened. So, the 120mm mortar showing its quality and one-shotting the Jaeger light infantry with extreme accuracy and lethality. Ow. Oh, there you go. So, the Joerpanzer headquarters has gone down for JesuliN up in the north, securing his position there with the fuel point, strategic point, and such. And we see a Panzer IV coming into play for JesuliN. Should be able to help out significantly against the smaller armor for VonIvan. But he's losing units left and right. Should be okay, though. I mean, army values are pretty similar, 65 to 66. Rakuten Warfare forced to retreat from the center as it was caught a little bit there. Up in the north, we hear the Oswind engaging, taking some shots there at a retreating guard squad. Center map, we hear JesuliN opening up fire on the shack here. Looks like he also wants to collapse that and make sure that nobody can pop in against them. Conscripts up in the front of the base. Volksgrenadiers trying to do what they do. So we hear the conscript squad getting torn apart there a little bit by the infantry and the Panzer IV. The Su-76 moves up and gets some shots flying at the Panzer IV. Panzer IV managing to get a good shot flying there on the Su-76. Su-76, though, retreats into the cover of his AT gun. Oh, shot flies from the Panzer IV and misses. The Panzer IV will be getting shot once again before it moves out of the zone. Oh! Oh, down goes the Panzer IV for JesuliN. Ooh, that's not good. And the Su-76 stays alive, manages to move back. JesuliN throwing into GG. Nice comeback. GG in return, and throws in the towel. Wow. That was brutal there. That, over here. I mean, that wasn't the end of the game, though, but, you know, he could still have held out and come back. But, yeah, losing that Panzer IV at this stage. If he had actually gotten the kill on the Su-76, it would have been a whole different game. But, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda, ifs and buts and all that things, right? Anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.